We have the ratings for the 4th episode of AEW Collision live on TNT, featuring the main event of CM Punk vs Samoa Joe for the first time in close to 20 years. Also an update on Dynamite this week. We will find out who the mystery partners are for both teams in the Blood and Guts match, the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. We have the ratings for Friday's episode of AEW Rampage on TNT. Keith Lee vs Swerve Strickland is still planned to happen at some point in the future in AEW. Kenny Omega reveals how he wants All In and All Out to be different. Jamie Hayter has not been backstage since Double or Nothing as she recovers from her injury problems, and Jeff Hardy is announced for his GCW debut. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. Let's start off talking about the ratings for AEW Collision. The ratings are in for the 4th episode. Of course, last week it was taped. This past week it was back being live once again and featured a main event of Samoa Joe versus CM Punk for the first time in close to 20 years. Now, Saturday night's episode of AEW Collision averaged 580,000 viewers on TNT, which is up significantly. It's up 28.3% from the previous week's 4th of July weekend episode. As I mentioned, that episode was taped. Now, this is the second lowest audience total that Collision has drawn since premiering on TNT last month. But in the 18 to 49 demographic, it's much better for AEW. In the 18 to 49 demo, Collision finished 5th on cable with a 0.21 rating. That is up 61.5% from last week and ties the second highest rating the show has done of the 4 episodes that have aired so far. Collision's ratings were up from last week in all categories, as would be expected considering it was live and also not a holiday weekend. But the biggest increase was with males aged 18 to 34, where the audience was nearly 6 times higher than the prior week. The episode was headlined by CM Punk defeating Samoa Joe in the semi-finals of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Punk didn't wrestle on the previous week's Collision, but appeared on commentary for Samoa Joe's match against Roderick Strong in the Owen Hart Foundation quarter-final match. But the show did have strong competition this past week, certainly stronger than usual competition, going head-to-head with the UFC 290 prelims on both ABC and ESPN. The ABC broadcast alone averaged 1.155 million viewers and drew a 0.33 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. Major League Baseball on Fox also aired head-to-head and averaged 2.2 million viewers and drew a 0.44 rating. So as I mentioned, if you're looking at the previous 4 weeks in terms of viewership and 18 to 49 demo ratings, the first episode drew 816,000 viewers for a 0.33 rating. The next week had 595,000 viewers with a 0.21 rating. As I mentioned, last week's number was not good at all due to being taped on 4th of July weekend. It was 452,000 viewers for a 0.13 rating, but an improvement this week with 580,000 viewers and a 0.21 rating. So what do you think for the ratings this past week for AEW Collision? Are we now entering the groove as to where Collision is going to settle, or are they going to build from this? Now, when it comes to ratings in general, AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery have actually been very happy recently, particularly when it comes to Dynamite ratings. Last Wednesday's July 5th episode of AEW Dynamite finished first for the night on cable, drawing 855,000 viewers and scoring a 0.29 in the key 18 to 49 demographic. Warner Bros. Discovery released a press release touting the success of Dynamite, which Tony Khan shared on Twitter after the show. Certainly, as I mentioned, they were very happy with this. An update from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select stated that Warner Bros. Discovery are very happy with the successful numbers for their shows this week, particularly when it does come to AEW Collision. An interesting tidbit is that the main event of Collision between Samoa Joe and CM Punk did see a significant bump to the Collision quarter-hour ratings. Again, something that Warner Bros. Discovery was very happy with. So as I mentioned, what are your thoughts on the ratings this week? What are your thoughts on the viewership numbers? And are Warner Bros. Discovery right to be happy, or should they have concern about this Saturday show moving forward, particularly when the strong sports competition comes in later this year? And let's talk about Dynamite this week, because tomorrow we're going to find out who the mystery participants are in AEW's Blood and Guts match next week. AEW will make its debut at the TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts next week, with a massive Blood and Guts match between the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club set to headline the episode. The two factions have been going back and forth in recent months, highlighted by the Bloody Anarchy in the arena match at Double or Nothing, as well as a blockbuster 10-man tag team match at last month's Forbidden Door event in Toronto. The two rival groups will look to lay their issues to rest once and for all on the July 19 episode of Dynamite, but there's still a mystery surrounding the final member of each team. With the Blackpool Combat Club's Bryan Danielson currently sidelined with a fractured arm and fan favourites The Elite consisting of just 4 members, both sides have been left without a 5th member for the double cage match. In an announcement on Twitter on Monday night, AEW President Tony Khan revealed that both sides will confirm their respective 5th participant on this Wednesday's Dynamite. Quote, with blood and guts in Boston just 1 week away, the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite will each reveal the 5th man joining their teams this week on Wednesday night, he wrote. Don't miss the huge announcements this Wednesday. Of course, there have been rumours circling in recent weeks that former New Japan Pro Wrestling star Kota Ibushi could be joining forces with longtime friend Kenny Omega. While the status of the Blackpool Combat Club's final stablemate remains up in the air, it has been rumoured and teased it could be Chris Jericho, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts, your predictions as to who each member of the team will be in the comment section below. Speaking of ratings, let's talk about the ratings for AEW Rampage this past Friday on TNT. The viewership figure and demo rating for Friday's July 7 episode of AEW Rampage on TNT has now been revealed. Per Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Rampage drew 368,000 viewers. This is down from the June 30 edition that drew 450,000 viewers. In the key 18 to 49 demographic, Friday's show scored a 0.12 rating. This is also down from the week prior that scored a 0.13 rating. This has been an up and down period, certainly, with the ratings for Friday night, the Friday night AEW show back in its normal time slot due to the various time changes in recent months. This week's show featured the Dark Order defeating the Elite in a trios opener thanks to an assist from Claudio Castagnoli and Konosuke Takeshita. Also, Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia defeated Matt Hardy and Jeff Jarrett, while Big Bill and Brian Cage defeated Matt Sydal and Trent Beretta to advance in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. What are your thoughts on Rampage's ratings, and is there anything AEW can do at this point to salvage the show, or is this where Rampage is going to be moving forward? An update on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. When are they finally going to do this singles match? Well, at some point in the future. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland both made their way to All Elite Wrestling in 2022 and soon became Swerve in Our Glory. They won the World Tag Team Championships on the July 13, 2022 Fighter Fest Night 1 edition of AEW Dynamite. Despite holding the titles for 70 days, Swerve in Our Glory's loss to the Acclaimed led to their eventual demise, with Strickland's new crew, the Mogul Affiliates, laying Keith Lee out with a cement block assisted double stomp. On the July 5th edition of AEW Dynamite, the former AEW World Tag Team Champions reunited in a loss to Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. Per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, there are plans to finally do the Swerve Strickland vs Keith Lee match at some point. Despite doing face-offs in Battle Royals, Tag Team and Multi-Man Tag Team action, Lee and Strickland have never actually gone one-on-one in All Elite Wrestling. Strickland is scheduled for action this week on Dynamite, but he's scheduled to face Nick Wayne on the July 12 edition of Dynamite, so as of right now, still no match official, but there are plans to do it at some point. When do you think that point will be, though? Kenny Omega has opened up about how he wants All In and All Out to be different. AEW star Kenny Omega was recently interviewed by Uproxx and commented on his hopes for AEW's All In and All Out events later this year. He expressed his belief that the shows, 1 week apart and staged on different continents, should both have a distinct feel to them. Quote, not to say that it should be a split roster and you see completely different people on both shows, but I do think that there needs to be matches that are features and very special for one evening, Omega began. And I think you need matches that are featured and are very special at the other one. All In, of course, will be AEW's first UK event held at Wembley Stadium in London. 1 week later, AEW All Out will return to Chicago at the United Center. Omega continued to describe what he wanted for each show. He noted that it would help spread the opportunities out, especially considering the depth of the roster and the talent contained within. Quote, if you're just using the same 20-30 guys over and over and over again, you're going to have a lot of these special athletes just sitting on the sidelines waiting for their chance to perform. But I think for sure you're going to see some people on one show that aren't on the other one, and I look at that in a positive way because I want the AEW fans, or just fans of wrestling, to be able to see more faces. So where do you think Omega will lie? Do you think he'll be on just one show, or is he going to be on both shows, considering the magnitude, particularly, of the All In show in London? A bit of an update when it comes to Jamie Hayter and her recovery from injury. Now, Jamie Hayter actually last appeared on AEW programming at the May 28 Double or Nothing pay-per-view event, dropping her Women's Championship to Toni Storm in a very brief encounter. In the weeks prior to her title loss, it was reported that Hayter was dealing with an injury. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, they have now provided some more details and insight into her current status in AEW. Fightful is reporting that Hayter has not been backstage at all in AEW since losing to Storm at Double or Nothing in May. Fans and Hayter herself will no doubt be hoping for a return in time for All In at Wembley Stadium on August 27 in Hayter's home country of England. While Hayter's injury layoff seemingly caused plans to be changed in late May, a similar headache has been posed to Tony Khan following Bryan Danielson's broken arm injury at Forbidden Door 2. Amongst other likely plans, Danielson's absence has left an open space for the Blackpool Combat Club's team for this year's Blood and Guts match against the Elite, while all signs have pointed towards Kota Ibushi taking up the spot on the place on Team Elite. An announcement on the vacant spots, as mentioned, will be made tomorrow on Dynamite, so we're going to find out indeed who those partners are. Finally, Jeff Hardy is about to make his GCW debut. AEW star Jeff Hardy is set to make his Game Changer Wrestling debut next month. The company announced today via Twitter that Hardy will appear at the August 4 show in Detroit, Michigan, just one day before WWE SummerSlam. Additionally, in a separate event following the wrestling show, Hardy will be performing music live at the same venue with a separate admission required. This appearance will be Hardy's first independent show in over a year. Last year, the AEW performer was arrested and charged with driving while intoxicated. Hardy eventually pled no contest, took some considerable time off, and according to his brother Matt, worked hard to get sober. Jeff has since returned to AEW television, last competing in a match against Austin and Colton Gunn on the June 21st edition of AEW Dynamite. In a follow-up tweet, GCW clarified that Hardy will be appearing but will not be wrestling during the show. Other stars advertised include Nick Gage, Blake Christian, Ali Catch, and Effie of Bussy. Leo Rush will take on Speedball Mike Bailey, and Joey Janela is set to face Commander. GCW's August 4 show is set to take place at Harpo's in Detroit, Michigan. The show begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, and fans will be able to watch the action from home live on the Fight TV Plus streaming service. So there you go, guys. This latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.